Vicente Perez alongside him. Had a disastrous opening race back in this championship, as did Mario Aggi, who crashed out earlier on. Can either of them put a challenge together to topple Carlos Tatai? The lights go out here in Jerez for the Junior World Championship, and it's another great start from pole position from the number 99. He's going to take the whole shot. Meanwhile, further behind, the championship leader Alcoba has again come through from row number 2 of the grid to settle into third. Vicente Perez, a better start this time around there in second, but this is not what anybody behind the pole man would have wanted to see. It's Tatai that hits the front once again.
Another superb start from the pole man, and the riders behind need to get in front of him if they're going to stop him from stretching away again. I think it looked like a great start from Barry Baltus. Is exactly what he needed. Where is the number 7 rider? Yeah, just tucked up behind Mario Aggi, the junior talent team rider in fourth. A good start from row 1 from him, and again Alcoba getting from row 2 into the top 3 off the line as we head down through 5 and into turn 6 down the back straight.
For the very first time, Tatai leads with Alcoba in third, soon to be second now. He's pulled out of the slipstream of Vicente Perez and will move through, as does Super Mario Aggi as well. The young man diving up the inside there, not making any friends was the Indonesian, but he's not bothered about that. He can smell a first podium. He's got the bit between his teeth after crashing out of the first race, but back comes Perez, a brave move into turn 7. Dives under the inside of Aggi, but it looks like the Indonesian may well just hold on to it. No, he doesn't. Vicente Perez takes third.
Yeah, we're talking about good starts, but it wasn't a good start for Javier Artigas. He's down in 10th place, so that is not good for his championship. Hopes the man second in the race for the title with Alcoba second, not third, second. He needs to make up ground quickly if he's going to beat Alcoba, the championship leader.
So through into Lorenzo Corner for the very first time, and it's Tatai that leads, a sight that we've been pretty used to today, with Alcoba there in second. There's Ryusuke Yamanaka just starting to make his way through the field. A better start for the Japanese rider this time around. He eventually got himself into the podium hunt in race number 1, but it looks as though he's trying to get into that fight a little bit earlier in this one. Aggi's still there in 4th behind Perez, and as you say, Elliot, a better start from Barry Baltus, finished 11th first time around, but he's up there into the leading quartet. 5 riders, 6 riders. Well, at the moment, that leading group goes all the way back to the man in last place. It's a typical Junior World Championship start. It
really is, and Artigas has slipped from 10th to 11th behind Daniel Holgado. So the Leopard racing rider you can see there in the back of your picture needs to start making progress, like I said, because Alcoba is sitting pretty in second, but Tatai's just got a little bit of an advantage on the rest, 2.5 tenths over the line. Is he going to start edging away? Let's have a look, but Alcoba looks to be settled in well in second. That's all he needs to do, beat his title rivals, and he's well on his way to the crown, as we see Yamanaka into 4th now ahead of Mario Aggi. He is looking for that podium finish. He didn't quite get in race 1.
There is Xavier Artigas starting to make his way through the field now, which he has to do. He's up to 8th. Just off the rear wheel of Adrian Fernandez, the second of the little Gliese Academy Husqvarna machines. He's got about 3 or 4 bike lengths to reel in if he wants to get into this podium hunt, which he looks like he's doing. Tatai, meanwhile, hasn't just started to break clear in the same manner we saw in race 1, but if memory serves, throughout the opening couple of laps, he was only able to chip away at about a 10th a lap before then eventually breaking clear at well over half a second a lap. Meanwhile, Yamanaka behind is starting to really pierce his way through the field. He's 4th at the moment. He had a big look up the inside of Vicente Perez there into the final corner, but couldn't find a way through.
Yeah, Yamanaka looking good here at the start of race 2 as Alcoba closes in on leader Tatai. Into turn 1 we go. Thought we were seeing someone drop through the time screens, but no, it's not. As we see, yes, Yamanaka now into 3rd place ahead of Vicente Perez. Good start for the number 6 rider. There he is, the fastest lap of the race on lap 2, and he has the lead in his sights.
147.3, 3/10 of a second quicker than the man at the front, Carlos Tatai, who just touches a bit of green on the exit of turn number 4. I have to be careful about that one as Baltus eyes a move up the inside of Super Mario Aggi. No way through on the Indonesian for the Belgian there, with these 6 riders just a little bit clear of Adrian Fernandez in 7th. Xavi Artigas is about to make a move on the younger brother of Raul Fernandez, though, and does it right on cue, up to 7th place now for Xavi Artigas.
Yeah, the progress he needs to make in these early stages. Got to bridge a gap of around 7/10 now. He's leading that Gagler riders behind, as we see Boucher's getting up the inside. Actually, that's tight, but what a move from the Belgian rider. He moves into 5th place, into the top 5. For Baltus, who now sits 3rd in the championship, as we see the top 3 just a little bit of a gap now to 4th place for Vicente Perez. Mariaggi looking up the inside, but not quite. Into the stadium section we go. Turns 9 and 10, circulated by the leaders, as Yamanaka tucks in behind the championship leader. Yamanaka, for me, is looking good here. Is it going to be another fastest lap of the race? We'll wait and find out.
He is looking good, really good at the moment. He's the Japanese rider. Number 6 on the front of his bike. Someone was a long way wide there. It was that Jose Julian Garcia, just in the back of your picture. We'll just wait to see as they come across the line, but I think it may well have been the number 20 of Jose Garcia. We'll just get confirmation now. Meanwhile, there's Denis Ernchu. A better start from him, from 15th on the grid, already up onto the rear wheel now of Daniel Holgado in 10th. And it was Garcia, the man that ran wide and eventually crashed out on that lap. So there'll be no podium finish for the Spaniard.
Yeah.
Oh, big moment for Vicente Perez. The rear wheel of that Mir machine was absolutely sideways. How on earth did he hold on to that one? Super safe from Vicente Perez, but more importantly, everyone else behind had to sit up, and it's allowed the leading trio to well and truly break clear now.
It's allowed the leading trio to break clear, but it's also allowed Artigas to close in on that fight for what is now 4th place. A gaggle of riders. Here he comes, the number 24, tucked in behind number 34, the junior talent team rider of Agi. Is he going to go to the inside 4 abreast? Is he going to make it stick? Oh, that's tight. Makes it 1 place ahead of Perez.
Just about gets it done, does Xavi Artigas, as does Agi as well. The pair of them up the inside of Vicente Perez, who, just like we saw in race 1, starting to slip backwards now. Baltus there in 4th. Perez looks to fight back, but no way through. Up the inside of Xavi Artigas. Meanwhile, at the front, Tatai still leads. Alcoba still there in 2nd, but Yamanaka in 3rd. Again, with another fastest lap of the race last time around. Now down to a 47.1, 0.2 of a second quicker. Meanwhile, what are we looking at here? Big moment for Vicente.
Phenomenal save.
I don't think that was Vicente Perez. That was slightly further down the field, that one. But it was a big moment at that very same corner for the man on the number 63 machine. So these 3 are well clear now. There's no doubt about that. Let's just see how much the advantage is from the rear wheel of Yamanaka to the front wheel of Barry Baltus as they come across the line. Tatai, Alcoba, Yamanaka click through, and then Baltus in 4th, 1 3/4 seconds behind Yamanaka. So it's certainly not an advantage that isn't in their grasps, but if these 3 get the head down and start to pull further clear, it will start to fall into their clutches. But Baltus and Artigas can see that. They've broken clear. 4th and 5th are well ahead of Vicente Perez now. They know that they cannot allow these 3 to go, and Denis Ernchu's joining them as well. Well, he had a disastrous Saturday and not a very good race number 1, but Denis Ernchu is a man on a mission here, looking to pick up his best result of the 2019 season.
Yeah, we've not spoken much about Denis Ernchu this race weekend. In race 1, didn't really see him, but yeah, he's going great. Good to see him. Race 2 is Artigas runs wide. That's very costly for the Leopard rider. How many positions is he going to lose? As we see Perez also running wide. Oh, it's cost Artigas a lot of time. That is he going to manage to squeeze through on Holgado? No, Holgado gets the better of him. So a disaster for the man 2nd in the championship. He's got all that work to do again, and it's looking increasingly unlikely that he's going to manage to get on terms with that man in 2nd place there, your championship leader, Alcoba. What position is Artigas in? He looks to be in around about 10th place, so this isn't going to be good for the championship.
7th at the moment is Artigas, but he looks like he may go further backwards because Acosta is all over the rear wheel. Again, he's popped up from absolutely nowhere as Pedro Acosta. He finished 4th in race 1 with an absolutely superb ride through the field, and he's looking to do exactly the same this time around. And here he goes up the inside of Artigas, down to 8th place now is the young Spaniard. This is not the sort of performance that the Leopard squad and Xavi Artigas will have wanted, especially with Alcoba looking to take the lead away from Carlos Tatai, which he duly does. So for the first time today, Carlos Tatai doesn't have fresh air ahead of him.
No, I think it was at least 2 of them looking over the shoulder there. It's just the 3 of you in the battle. How far away are they? It's 2.6 seconds to Barry Bowser, so not going to write him off just yet, because we saw in race 1 that Yamanaka and Acosta were able to reel in the podium battle from around about 2 seconds back. But these 3 are in a class of their own in race 2 at the moment, and it's your championship leader, Alcoba, who's doing the business so far as we head down through 5 and into 6. Is Tatai or Yamanaka going to make a move into the Dani Pedrosa corner? It looks like Tatai's pulling out. Alcoba, is he late on the brakes? No, Tatai's going to squeeze through, is he? Looks across. Oh.
And nobody wants to lead. What on earth is going on there? The 3 of them all sat up at the same time and started looking at each other and gesticulating at each other. Why don't you just get on with it, lads? Meanwhile, Billy Van Erdy's gone down. It was a disappointing day yesterday for the Australian after he got taken out by his teammate Max Cook, and unfortunately he's crashed out of this one as Billy, but it was a good end to his Red Bull Rookies campaign, having won in Aragon a week ago. Couldn't follow it up with a super result here, but he'll be back in action next week. And meanwhile, look at them all looking over the shoulders again, and Yamanaka's waving, as is Alcoba as well. I really do not know what on earth these 3 are playing at, because if they carry on like this, then Baltas and Earnshaw will be rubbing their hands together and we'll close in on them. Yeah, I've never seen that in my life before. I've seen people obviously look over their shoulder. It's a fairly normal thing to do, but to sit up on the inside when you're going for the race lead, to allow him back through, yeah, not sure what's going through the race leader's mind, but it is Tatai now who leads the race as Earnshaw makes his move on Baltas. Earnshaw, a great ride from him. Where did he start? It was down in 15th, so cracking ride for the number 53 rider there. It is a great start, and you look at the lap times that time around, they lost 1.3 seconds from simply messing about on the lap. If they continue like that, then Earnshaw and Baltas are going to be with them in no time. And to be perfectly frank, it serves them right as well. No, you're not wrong. Tatai now looking to maybe create a gap. I'm not sure what happened on that previous lap over his head, but let's hope it doesn't happen again. They've just got to get their heads down, because, yeah, like you say, the gaggle of riders, well, Earnshaw and Baltas closed in on them heavily on the last lap. So with 10 laps to go, they need to continue on their way, because they've got a decent lead, so they don't want to ruin that by, yeah, like you say, just simply messing about. Vicente Perez hard on the brakes into Pedrosa corner, turn number 6 there, and as a result loses out of place. It looks like it's another great ride, another supercharge through the field from Haruki Noguchi. He's now just behind his fellow junior talent team rider Mario Aggi, so the Japanese rider again making a great surge through the field. Tatai, meanwhile, has retaken the lead now and is looking to edge a little bit clear of Alcoba now that the messing has been put to one side and they're getting down to business. The Red Bull Rookies champion just proving and showcasing the pace that he had in race number 1. Yeah, Alcoba and Yamanaka need to be careful here to not let Tatai go, because as he proved in the opening race earlier on today, he has superior pace. He won by nearly 8 seconds. So not so much for Alcoba, because he's sitting pretty in second. His championship lead will increase by a significant amount, with Artigas still in 8th place there. Just in the back of your shot, the Leopard Racing Honda. But for Yamanaka, he's in search of his 2nd win of the season, and after missing out on a podium by the narrowest of margins in race 1, he is going to be eager to at least pick up that 3rd, but with the win well within his sights, he's going to be doing all he can to take that. But it looks like they've reeled in Tatai again. There's only half a second splitting the trio over the line, so nothing between them. And looking just a little bit further back, Dennis Earnshaw has Barry Baltas, Acosta, Holgado and Artigas just off the back of them with them as well. So here is this, well, I don't know what to describe it as, incident earlier in the race. Tatai looks left, Alcoba looks right, Yamanaka waves to say, get on with it, lads. And then it happens again down the start-finish straight as well. As Alcoba looks over his shoulder, Yamanaka looks over his shoulder at the same time, but then the pair of them wave at each other and say, right, come on, let's get on with it then. It was a lap of, well, just chaos, well, to be frank. I have no idea what was going on. It was as if they were, may as well have just got a picnic table out, had themselves a cup of tea halfway around the race and then thought, right, lads, shall we carry on with it now? But they are back underway. They are fighting at the front once again with 9 laps remaining. And despite Tatai just showing his pace and just upping it ever so slightly, he's not been able to break clear of Alcoba and Yamanaka just yet. Incidentally, we saw our cameras focusing on one of the Leglise Academy, actually the team boss, Efrain Vasquez, former Grand Prix rider himself. He was the man sat on pit lane just doing the typical signal just to say, look, let's up the pace, Jeremy. Let's not continue with any of these games because there's a championship lead to preserve here and possibly extend. He needs to continue as he is because this race could be one of the most pivotal in this 2019 championship with Artigas languishing down in 7th as he is.
Yeah, 100%. As we mentioned, Artigas there, he is the number 24 rider just behind Acosta, with Denis Ernchu leading fellow KTM rider Bautas round in 4th and 5th place. But yeah, like you say, the last thing Alcoba needs right now is to get caught up in some games and maybe crash out or run wide or anything, because right now he's sitting in a very, very good second position with Artigas, as we've mentioned numerous times, in 7th. So just get your heads down, boys. You're 2.8 seconds, only 3 seconds clear of the rest. So just keep doing what you're doing and you'll be fine. But Artigas needs to make up some positions here, as we see
Holgado.
Yeah, sorry, not Alcoba, Holgado.
Up the inside, Mario Adji there in the fight for well. He slipped backwards to 13th now as the Indonesian rider, nearly clipping the rear end of David Salvador if he flicked right into Pedrosa corner. Back at the front though, or just behind them, there's Denis Ernchu continuing to try his level best to pull in Yamanaka and Alcoba at the front of the race, but so far unable to chip away at the near 3-second advantage that they have. That's getting quite tasty behind, with Adrian Fernandez leading that group for 11th place. We've now Noguchi there in 12th and Aleix View behind him in 13th. That's quite the scrap for the final points in this one, but it's still, as we've seen it for the vast majority of this race, at the front. Tatai leading, with Alcoba there in 2nd, and Yamanaka, well, he seems quite happy there in 3rd place at the moment. With 7 laps remaining, I think he feels that he's got the pace to win this one, but at the moment, he's keeping his cards as close to his chest as he can.
Yeah, this could be a race of attrition in terms of tyres, because the 33-degree heat isn't exactly perfect, with the track temperature soaring even higher than 33 degrees. So the riders need to be careful of how well they're pushing in the with 7 laps to go, but they're all looking reasonably comfortable so far. And 4th place Denis Ernchu is just creating a little bit of a gap. He's got over half a second now on Pedro Acosta, and I didn't think I'd be saying this at Jerez this far in the season, but his best of the season is currently P8, so a P4 for Denis Ernchu will be a cracking ride for him.
Barry Baltus has crashed out. Where on earth has that happened? The Belgian has crashed out and has possibly put an end to his hopes of winning the 2019 Junior World Championship. He came into this weekend in 2nd place, but in 11th in the 1st, and a big fat 0 in this one means that you can pretty much rule him out of winning the 2019 Junior World Championship. Disaster for the Belgian here in Jerez.
Yeah, that is not good for his championship hopes, all but over if Alcoba can stay on, at least on a podium position. So really it's now looking to Artigas as his closest challenger, and who he sits in 6th place as things stand. So yeah, a good day so far for that man, sandwiched between Tatai and Yamanaka in 2nd, Alcoba.
Tatai's advantage of 2 or 3 bike lanes, and what again, Alcoba is just waving Yamanaka through there. He looked over his left-hand shoulder and sort of waved him through. Again, I really don't know what's happening here, but Alcoba clearly doesn't want to lead it and doesn't want to sit in 2nd place. I'd love to see a replay of that one, because it looked like
literally just waved him through, didn't he?
He just put his left hand out and sort of waved him through as if to say, come on, you do a bit of the chasing as well. There's Aleix View. What a nightmare couple of minutes for the Angel Nieto Sama Qatar squad, with both Baltus and now Aleix View out of contention. Well, that will pump up Haruki Noguchi aboard the Junior Talent Team machine up to 9th place, and Adrian Fernandez up to 8th as well. So another 2 good rides coming from them.
There we go, we had the live championship. Tatai would move above Baltus into 41, so if he keeps hold of this race lead, he's putting himself right into contention with the last 2 rounds remaining. And
the fun and games continue once again, with both Alcoba and Yamanaka sitting up down the back straight, not wanting to move past Tatai. Meanwhile, poor old Carlos at the front of the race has absolutely no idea what's going on behind him. He's got his chin glued to the tank of that KTM machine, thinking that they're going hell for leather, but unfortunately it looks like both Alcoba and Yamanaka are just playing a waiting game at the moment.
Well, looking behind and people saying stick behind me, let's go and chase whoever's in front is quite a common thing in the CEV Championship, but not slowing down and looking like come through, mate. That's not something we're used to seeing and something we probably shouldn't see, but yeah, they just got to keep their heads down. And Dennis Ernstu is 3.4 seconds here, so they've not really got to worry about him unless they're thinking about tyre consumption and whatnot, but they're looking fairly comfortable, so yeah, can't really explain what's going on.
Well, we're getting into the stage now where all of these games are going to have to start playing off. Just 5 laps remaining. They clearly feel that they don't have the pace to break clear, but are quite happy just to sit behind Tatai at the moment and let the laps tick away. And obviously, the only danger of that is if for any reason a red flag is brought out. We are well over the 2/3 race distance mark now. So a race result would be confirmed at this stage if the red flag were to be brought out. Fingers crossed it isn't, though. We do get to see these final 5 laps. Artigas has a race on his hands himself with Pedro Acosta ahead of him. And then behind him, he's got Daniel Holgado for company as well, up to 6th place at the moment. But with Alcoba there in 2nd, it's another 10 points favouring the number 52. He would be 38 clear heading to Albacete. It would be quite the impressive championship lead.
Yeah, and with Dennis Ernstu having some good pace in the latter half of the race, he's now 1.1 ahead of that Acosta, Artigas and Holgado fight. So really, the best Artigas can hope for, barring any mishaps with the guys in front of him, is 5th place. So yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. But Ernstu well on his way to a best result of the season. As these three, there's still nothing between them. There's the Red Bull KTM IO machine of Dennis Ernstu, a couple of World Championship wildcards to his name this season.
Most notably, last time out in Massano and Aragon as well. Older twin brother Jan in FP1 sent it to the scenery and unfortunately suffered a broken collarbone, which he's now recovering from. And Dennis, fortunately, had his levers in the truck, so decided to jump on his brother's bike for both the San Marino and Aragon Grand Prix. Meanwhile, back at the front, it's as we have it. 4 laps to go, and Tatai still leads with Alcoba and Yamanaka, we think, just sat there waiting for the final couple of laps to pounce. Here's a replay once again. I think this is of Alcoba waving him through. Oh no, it was a bit of a moment coming from Tatai, just off the edge of the curb, and the rear wheel just losing traction for a second. Did well to hold on to it though.
Is that proof that now with 4 laps to go, Tatai's thinking, right, let's go for this now. Tyres are feeling good, I'm feeling good. Let's try and break clear of the men in 2nd and 3rd place. It'll be interesting to see if Alcoba and Yamanaka, especially Yamanaka in my opinion, can maybe stick with Tatai if that is what he's thinking.
Here comes Yamanaka. This is the first time that he's looked possibly to make a move on Alcoba, but thought better of it, so he sits there in 3rd, as he has done for the majority of the race. Big look over the shoulder from Tatai, indicating he hasn't broken clear yet because he got a big number 52 in his vision as he looked over his left shoulder there. We still are 3 bikes together at the front of this one with 3.5 laps remaining. Ernstu still sat there in a lonely 4th place, as you can just see in the back of your picture aboard the Red Bull KTM IO. Not confirmed for the World Championship in 2028 as the 2017 Asia Talent Cup champion, but rumours suggesting we will see him move up onto the world stage next year.
Yeah, following in steps of twin brother Chan's car, Tatai runs it a little bit wide onto the green stuff. Got to be careful. We've seen a track limits warming pop up before. The man in 5th place, Pedro Acosta, so he's also got to be careful. The man just ahead of 2nd in the championship, Artigas, as we cross the line. Looks like Tatai has put a little bit of a gap into Alcoba. It's now 3.5 tenths instead of 1.5 tenths. So is he pushing on 2 tenths a lap quicker on that lap? There, you see the battle for 5th place race by.
So here we go then, 3 laps remaining for the 2nd of 2 Junior World Championship races here at the Circuito de Jerez. Angel Nieto. We've seen some fun and games been played between Alcoba, Yamanaka and Tatai throughout the race, but it looks like the time for games has come to an end. Tatai has pulled the pin at the front of the race. He won race 1 by 7.5 seconds. It's going to be much closer than that this time around, but this is his break for victory and a break for a double victory at that as well. Tatai has far clear, as we have seen throughout the majority of this race.
There we go, confirmation that Tatai is pushing on, fastest lap of the race with 3 laps to go. Shows that no sign of tyre wear coming into play. And again, another look over his shoulder, he's pulling clear. Now, as we see a massive gaggle of riders. Who is that? Is that Artigas? It is at the front of that with Mario Hadji stuck in behind. So Artigas has got a proper job on his hands if he's to keep this 5th place.
This is a fight for 5th. Where's Pedro Acosta? He was well in contention, slipped backwards. He's somewhere in that gaggle of riders battling it out for 5th place. This is going to go down to the wire here with Mario Hadji putting himself in a great position there in 6th at the moment. Earnchu's ahead of them in 4th. There he is. But this is so important for Xavi Artigas that he finishes at the front of this fight, because if he starts to slip backwards, well then Jeremy Alcoba's championship lead could be well over 40 points heading into Albacete in just a few weeks' time. Here comes Mario Hadji though, big look up the inside, no way through though, as Pedro Acosta comes back and makes up about 3 places with a dive up the inside.
Yeah,
there's no love lost here.
2 junior talent team riders, number 32 and the number 34 going at it, with Artigas still leading. That fight for 5th as what's the gap at the front. It's 8 tenths now. Tatai really pushing on, with Yamanaka still just less than a 10th behind Alcoba. So with 2 laps to go, it looks like Tate has got this one sewed up.
He is 0.8 of a second clear now of Alcoba, and here's proof of it as well, as Yamanaka looks up the inside, no way through. He can see that Tatai's made the break for the lead. 1.5 laps remaining, and it looks like it's going to be a double victory for the Red Bull Rookies champion. Can Alcoba hold on for another 2nd place here in Jerez, or will the Estrella Galizia man of Ryusuke Yamanaka pounce? Here he comes, the Japanese rider slips through up the inside and takes 2nd away from Alcoba.
Yeah.
Another look over the shoulder from Tatai again though. That's the 3rd lap in a row at that exact same point that he's looked over his shoulder. It's not slowed his momentum though, because he's well over a 2nd clear now.
We've got a few track limits, one here, 96. That is Daniel Holgado and the number 53 of Dennis Earnchu. So they've got to be careful. The man in 4th and the man currently in 12th. But back with the podium battle, it's now Yamanaka with a classic turn 6 move of the inside of your championship leader. There's, yeah, like you say, Tatai. Just check behind him. He knows he's got a nice, comfortable buffer now heading on to the last 1.25 laps. So it looks like, barring any mishaps, it could be a double race victory for the Red Bull Rookies champion. Here comes Alcoba looking feisty on into this final corner. Not quite that time around, but you can bet your bottom dollar that Alcoba is going to go for that 2nd place to strengthen his lead in the championship.
And Tatai could well spark Mission Impossible into life here, in terms of him winning not only the Red Bull Rookies Cup, but the Junior World Championship as well, because if Alcoba does finish 3rd, which it doesn't look like, having just gone up the inside of Yamanaka on the final lap, it will be beneath 40 points. He will move up into 2nd in the championship, because Artigas has been swallowed up in that fight for 5th place. He's come across the line in 11th as Artigas. He started the last lap in 5th. He's lost 6 places on that last lap as the young Spaniard. And well, his hopes of winning the Junior World Championship in 2019 could well be over with that 1 lap. It's a disastrous day for Xavi Artigas to finish 11th, having been in the podium hunt in race number 1. Meanwhile, it's a perfect day for this man. Carlos Tatai has just half a lap remaining to sew up a double win, as Alcoba looks to hold off the advances of Ryusuke Yamanaka on the final lap. Yamanaka found a way through right there last time around. No such problems for Alcoba this time though. He holds off the advances of the Japanese rider with now just half a lap remaining.
Yeah, every point now vital in the championship for Alcoba, and Tatai will be hoping Yamanaka can get in front of the number 52. Here we go then into the stadium section. 1 passing places here. Don't think he's going to quite do it up the inside.
Defensive line held by Alcoba. Tried to hold on to that right-hand side of the track as much as possible, not allowing any gap for Yamanaka to come through. Tatai has got all the time in the world at the front. He can look over his shoulder for as long as he wants, because it's another race victory going his way. These two can have no such messing about though. As we've seen earlier in the race, they are fighting it right down to the final corner here. Alcoba again, super defensive on the way in. Can he get it stopped? Yamanaka will surely get a better drive out the final corner. He looks to take it on the flick back, and Yamanaka will surely get the drive. The pair side by side. Alcoba tries to put him onto the grass. Who's going to take 2nd place? It's too close to call. Yamanaka celebrates, but our timing screens indicate that it's Alcoba that takes it by, get this, 1,000th of a second. What a finish. And in the end, where does Xavi Artigas 10th? 10th for Artigas and 6 points for him. So it looks like he's lost out another 14 to Alcoba. That could well be checkmate in the direction of Alcoba in this 2019 series. 16 points and another podium trophy going the way of Jeremy Alcoba. Doesn't look best pleased with that, but thumbs up indicate it's job done today. 20 points in race 1, 16 in race 3, on both occasions extending his championship lead further. In the grand scheme of things, I'm sure when he chats it over tonight, he'll be happy with his day's work. Ryusi Yamanaka definitely pleased with his day's work by taking second place, kicking off his road to MotoGP and his road to the Moto3 World Championship in a superb manner, as has this man as well. We'll see him on the 2020 World Championship grid next year, and he's started that road to MotoGP with a double victory here in Jerez.